Hi, I'm Alex from GameWorks here at SGC, and what is this game we're standing in front of, and what's your name?
This is Popup Dungeon, and my name is Enrique. I'm one of the developers for it. It's kind of a family-based studio, so it's just me, my brother, and my wife. But we've been working on Popup Dungeon for about 5 or 6 months, and we just finished the Kickstarter, so that's where we're at.
So you guys are a Kickstarter company? So
yes, basically. I mean, we made a game before this called Ring Runner, Flight of the Sages, but we haven't been full-time until now.
The way that all the things pop in and stuff, that gives me a very Bastion feel, like other indie games like that. Is that kind of the style that you guys are going for?
Well, we initially started off wanting to make sort of a pop-up book aesthetic, so that's why it was called Popup Dungeon. But then we decided to go more with a sort of enchanted board game feel. So if you think of something like Dungeons & Dragons, like Castle Ravenloft, that sort of thing, we're trying to emulate that kind of a style. As you can see, it's a paper craft aesthetic, so I would say that it's leaning more towards that.
Your wife was telling me earlier when I came up here originally about a lot of the customization options that you guys have in here. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. So basically, because we have a papercraft style, you can just take an image from the internet that's just basically going to be something like, a gun on a white background or a sword on a transparent background, and the game will automatically cut it out and turn it into a sort of a cardboard cutout for you that you can use as a weapon. You can also do the same thing with enemies, so if you just got a picture from the internet or if you drew something yourself, as long as it's a plain background, you'll get that cutout and you can create an enemy that way. Now, as far as like abilities are concerned, this is where it gets really interesting, is you can create any ability, and it's the same sort of principle. You put in whatever image you want, name it whatever you want, and you have up to 5 effects. Those 5 effects can be positives, they can be negatives, you can add area of effect, the range, select the actual cost it costs to activate it, and based on all of these things, it's going to balance it behind the scenes and give you your ability. 5 of those abilities equals a character, and you get 5 characters per party.
So it feels like a very like D&D, but on like a computer or on like a laptop sort of thing.
Exactly, and that was kind of the inspiration. Is we had a group of people that we used to play pen and paper games, and we split up over the ages, as you tend to do. And so we have some people that live here in Dallas, and we have some people that live in other cities. And you can play a sort of hybrid multiplayer, local and online co-op. So we can have 3 players here, and we can have 2 players somewhere else, or any combination. And the nice thing is that you will get a 6th player to be the Dungeon Master. And the Dungeon Master controls the enemies, he controls the sort of level layouts and things like that. And he also has abilities to affect the game, like spawning new enemies, buffing you, dealing damage, destroying props, whatever,
And what consoles are you guys coming out for?
So initially we're going to be on Steam, and it's going to be PC, Mac, and Linux. And because we're on Steam, that enables us to use Steamworks, so it's very easy to share content. You'll, for instance, be able to like download enemies in the background, so that when you get into a dungeon, you never know what you're going to face, because you're going up against user-generated enemies like the Joker, King Koopa, something like that. And if you don't like them, you can say, never show this guy again. And if you do, you can keep them and add them to your enemy collection. But then we hope to branch out to the Wii U and Xbox, PS Vitas, things like that.
Are the stats for these characters also player controlled, or would that be game controlled? Is it just the like aesthetic, or is it the stats as well?
So you get to, of course, create your actual character. You fill.
Sorry, for the enemies, the player created enemies.
Yeah, the enemies do have 2 things basically. You have the basic stats, and a lot of that is driven by passive abilities too. So, for instance, if you wanted them to be strong against stuns, you can have a passive ability that does that. So you're able to customize the enemy, but you do have a 3 stat system, a simple stat system that you can control. But the main thing is you can also control their personality types, whether they run away, whether they tend to be bosses more often than not, that kind of thing. So it gives you pretty much as much control as we can give the players.
So, but it's still like a limited stat, so I wouldn't run into just like a monster that a player had made just like impossibly hard or something.
Exactly, that's the nice thing about that whole ability system. The ability system drives the entire game, and everything is balanced, like I said. So if I wanted to do an ability that just outright kills a monster, I have a chance to kill the monster, it's going to have to take up a lot of AP cost. I'm going to have to be stunned for like 5 turns, and then I'm only going to get a chance to do it. So that's how it works, basically.
All right, thank you very much for the interview.
Thank you.
Thank you.